We've been looking at a lot of global super projects recently, but there's one from China that's so big that it dwarfs them all as the most expensive in the entire world. China's Belt and Road Initiative is a massive global infrastructure development strategy that seeks to bolster international trade. Currently, it involves 149 countries and counting, despite an insane budget and quite a bit of controversy. In more basic terms, China will be seeking to create a vast network of railways, energy pipelines, highways, and streamlined border crossings. This will increase trade through various countries and in theory will help some countries that don't have a solid infrastructure to take a more active role in international trade. While it's not the flashiest thing in the world, especially compared to the building of huge Wakanda-style future cities, the main issue that's holding a great deal of the world up is the lack of decent roads or the lack of regular maintenance to existing roads. So China stepping up to build these roads is being seen by some nations as a true saving grace. The strategy, which the Chinese President Xi Jinping has often called the New Silk Road, will cover a massive area of land. It will run across Pakistan, India, Southwest Asia, former Soviet republics, Russia, and even stretches to Egypt. The plan for the success of this project is estimated to be around 2049. This will be the 100th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. That would be quite the anniversary accomplishment, though many have claimed that its success by that date is absolutely as unrealistic as possible. Part of the doubts about its completion include its ballooning budget that has gone well above what anyone thought it would be. Remember when I said that this was the most expensive project in the world right now? Well, I wasn't just joking around. The budget for this thing is truly eye-popping. While some reports claimed that it would only cost a few $1 trillion, that projection has been estimated at a much higher projection of $8 trillion. Now, $1 trillion is kind of hard to imagine, so let's help out with that, shall we? If you actually brought it together in cash, it would actually weigh 2.2 billion pounds. It would be higher than the Roman Colosseum. In fact, if you just stacked them on top of each other, it would be 67,866 miles, or 1/4 the way to the moon. And that's just 1 trillion too, not 8. So this project's budget would stretch 542,928 miles, all the way to the moon and part of the way back. What's crazy is this project is nowhere near done yet, so that budget could end up becoming much bigger, which would be even harder to imagine. Maybe it'll get all the way to Mars. One of the flagship projects that shows off exactly what kind of construction the BRI is doing is the new commercial district created for Egypt. The Central Business District, or CBD, is located just east of Cairo and looks to be a big part of Egypt's Rejuvenation Initiative. The project covers 505,000 square meters of land being constructed upon. Those plans include 20 commercial and residential skyscrapers. One of those will be a 385-meter building. This would make it instantly iconic as the tallest building in all of Africa. While projects like these are constantly besieged by setbacks and broken promises, this one is a different story. In fact, they have an estimated completion date of 2023. The impact this will have on Egypt is simply incalculable. It will definitely bring a ton of new jobs and living areas to the district, but how that district then affects the rest of Egypt over the next few decades is simply hard to imagine. The entire country could be reshaped by this project by this time in 2032. You do see why this is their poster child project, right? While the BRI's benefits internationally are self-evident, it's very clear what the true intentions are for this project. China is looking to step up as a much bigger international leader. Ever since the fall of the Cold War, the United States of America was seen as the world's sole remaining superpower. For years, China has been slowly creeping up on this title. Now it seems like China will be pushing itself forward as the leading country of the world. We've seen China try to modernize and change its international image recently, so this project's aims to make China a bigger world leader are pretty clear, though more attention isn't always a great thing. Of course, with a project this huge, there's no way that there wouldn't be massive controversies. There are no projects of this size that don't concern environmental organizations worldwide. Primarily, those concerns are the massive disruptions of ecosystems internationally. China doesn't exactly have a great track record with environmentalism, especially when it comes to the country's businesses, though the country has been moving more towards sustainability recently. For instance, the country announced that it will no longer build coal-fired power plants abroad, something the country was often criticized for. The country also plans to show big-time support for other countries to develop green energy and sustainable systems for the environment. So if China really does want to become a world leader and one that seeks to help the planet, this project is a big test to see how they will accomplish this. Then there are some that are just concerned about China's growing international influence. Many out there, including Michael Scott himself, have viewed China as a sort of boogeyman, citing human rights violations, censorship, and many other issues with how the Chinese government operates. I mean, the country has even banned a lion's share of the Phase 4 MCU films, ranging from Shang-Chi to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That's the most important issue here. These kinds of issues have plagued the project as well. There have been some reports that laborers from China who are sent abroad are often used as unpaid labor against their will due to shady business strategies. That includes seizing passports and threatening to report their illegal status. Naturally, this sort of thing could be a PR disaster if it is the way many workers on the new Silk Road are going to be treated. This project has been going on for well over a decade, so that means we have a great deal of information regarding some of these controversies that assuage some fears and aggravate others. Starting with the environmental issues, you might be a bit surprised. People were quite certain that this massive project was going to be an ecological disaster. So naturally, a great deal of studies went into how this project has affected the ecosystems involved in the Belt and Road Initiative. The results were, well, surprising. Turns out that the Belt and Road Initiative actually improved the environmental quality of these ecosystems involved in the route. This mostly happened through the initiative using green technology, promoting green technological progress, and the widespread support of environmental regulation. While the study didn't claim that it was a wall-to-wall environmental success by any means, it's safe to say that the results were shockingly positive. It seems as though this project is actually spreading environmentally friendly techniques across the world. As far as fears over China's growing influence goes, there are many who think that China is heading in some scary directions as this project has increased their influence. For instance, China and Russia have recently renewed their friendship in light of their shared controversial issues over trying to consume Taiwan and Ukraine, respectively. As China is rumored to be preparing for its own conflict with Taiwan that will likely cause a similar firestorm of bad press, especially in the West, Russia and China now have each other's backs. This alliance would really water down any resistance from other countries who might want to interfere in these conflicts. As far as for changing its international image goes, none of the potential goodwill that they are trying to bring up matters if they continue to support Russia and invade Taiwan. That is not going to sit well with a good deal of the world, no matter how many roads the country helps build. So when we say the new Silk Road, what exactly do we mean? Well, historically, the Silk Road, or Silk Route, was a massive Eurasian trade route that connected most of the Western and Eastern worlds. It was coined due to the fabulous silk products that were made in China and then brought to the West. The initiation of the route originated in the Han Dynasty in 130 BCE and continued through the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, the Mongol Empire, and up until the Ottoman Empire. It is one of the most famous and successful trading routes in ancient human history. China is making the biggest gamble in modern history right now. Will it pay off? Let's see.